Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark as we wrap up our recent foray into PBS masterpiece. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today we're discussing The Count of Monte Cristo, episode 8, the last two, which originally aired on PBS on Sunday, May 10th, 2026, and is currently available to stream on pbs.org and the PBS app. We hope you'll stick around for our coverage of Hallmark content as we continue to review the newest movies and series like The Way Home and Paris is Always a Good Idea, coming soon to Hallmark over here on Girls Gone Hallmark. You can keep up with our schedule of reviews by following us on Instagram, where we are Girls Gone Hallmark. I have a couple of emails to read.
Oh, yay.
First of all, Paula emailed about The Count of Monte Cristo and says, I'd like to give an opinion on Edmond that kind of disagrees with you. First, of course, Edmond is a changed man, but I believe he changed for the better. His fixation on revenge hasn't stopped him from seeing the good in people. He made good on anyone he hurt, and we don't yet know what will happen to the people affected by his revenge. He still loves Mercedes and she loves him, but they will not be together again. That, I believe, is his penance that he had to do to get revenge. I think he leaves France and finds a place where he can be at ease, free from everything that has haunted him all these years. Caderousse was never in danger from Edmond. Edmond doesn't believe in killing. Remember, he spent years with Abby Faria, and he said as much at the execution he watched in Rome. As to Fernand, his whole involvement in getting Dantes out of the way was because of his obsession with Mercedes. Also, remember the place of women in the 19th century. How much agency did Mercedes or any woman in this story have? From Emily, in a different take, she just sent some additional PBS recommendations.
Oh, okay.
She says, the Royal Flying Doctors Service, RFDS, she loved this one so much. She started it after a Melbourne match on Hallmark. A Melbourne match, excuse me, and wanted something Australian.
Oh.
This is about a doctor from the UK who comes to join the RFDS and the medical and personal stories around the team there. The service gets to places in the Australian outback that might not get support. As far as I can tell, the medical is accurate. I looked up a lot of things because I was so interested, but really love the characters and their relationships. I won't give you too much on that, but recommend at least checking it out to see if it catches you. Emily also recommends Good Karma Hospital. I watched this last year and liked the characters. Another doctor traveling to a different locale. This one is in India. I'd rank RFDS ahead personally, but did enjoy this one.
These are both PBS shows?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I am really impressed with the content on PBS and will continue to seek out shows. I mean, I don't know if we're going to review any more PBS or what our plan is, but I'm pretty impressed.
Well, I was talking to my mom last week and I said, oh, are you watching The Count of Monte Cristo? And she said, yeah, I thought it was great. And I said, what about the Forsytes? And she said, yes. And she goes, they had also seen the Forsyte Saga, which is also a PBS show from years ago. It's streaming on Netflix right now. And I watched part of the first episode and it didn't grab me just because I'm like, that's not Joe. That's not Soames. But Soames, Damian Lewis, who you will recognize from Homeland.
Oh, yep.
Rupert Graves plays young Joe. Anyway, I was like, these aren't the right people. I think I need a little more distance from my Forsytes to watch the Forsyte Saga, but the storytelling is a little bit different.
I absolutely buy Damian Lewis as like a possessed.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet he plays that pretty well.
Yeah, that's what she was saying, that he was excellent in it. So that's another option right there.
Cool.
So why don't we get into The Count of Monte Cristo with a synopsis?
Edmond exposes Heloise poisoning plot. Midwife testifies. It just says midwife testifies against father at Gaston's murder trial. Edmond reunites with Mercedes in Marseille, questioning his ability to love again.
Hey, Wendy, what is your first impression of the season finale of Count of Monte Cristo?
This finale had everything. Poison, prison, humiliation, and somehow a Hallmark ending.
My first impression is, well, looks like I was wrong, kind of.
Were you shocked at the ending?
Well, you know, that's not how the book ends.
I know. I had to Google. I Googled like 3 episodes ago, how does this end? So I've been holding on to it, like waiting to see like, where is this going to go? Where is this going to go? A spoiler, if you don't want to hear how the actual book ends, tap through. Because I'm going to mention it right here. He's supposed to be with Haiti.
Yes.
So why didn't they do it that way?
Well, my guess is they didn't have enough time to develop the character of Haiti to make her someone that it would make sense for Edmond to be with romantically.
Right.
Yeah. That's my only guess. Apparently, all the different adaptations have a different ending. We'll get into our thoughts on this one. I think this was appropriate for this, but I find it very interesting that they take such a different tact from the writer's ending. Mm-hmm. It's a completely different choice.
Agree. And I got to tell you, I was pleased because that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, it's a nice bow on the series to have them together.
For sure.
Yes.
I was watching this on Mother's Day. And I was watching it alone, and my family decided they wanted to come and hang out with me because it was Mother's Day. And I was like, this is the end. I need everybody to be quiet.
I know my husband kept coming in. He's like, do you need anything? I'm like, I need you to shh. Villefort is finally.
All right, let's talk about what we liked.
All right. Well, let's talk about Villefort.
Okay. I have a hard time admitting, but I actually felt a little bit of empathy for him.
Oh, me too.
Okay. I didn't think we'd actually get there because for Danglars and for I didn't care. I didn't care about their.
They didn't kill a child.
Right. So there were two scenes. When he comes upon and sees his wife and now his young boy dead, poisoned by, Heloise, whatever her name is, like she obviously poisoned both of them, herself and the kid, right?
Okay, that's my question.
Oh.
I think yes. But I also think there's room for the boy to have come across the drink.
Oh, and then maybe she was like, ah.
Because she loved him.
Yeah.
So, but she was bad.
Yeah.
She was a bad human. She was willing to do anything for money.
Right.
So, including sending her stepdaughter to prison for the rest of her life. Mm-hmm. So, I can't decide. Again, this is one of those things. Is this how it happens in the book? I don't know. And do we get more information about her motivation in the book? But I can't decide if I believe that she poisoned him.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got you.
But yes, I felt bad for Villefort in that moment.
When he is
overcome.
Yes. And then I'm going to get to it, but Edmond coming in and seeing that scene too, I think is poignant. I'll talk about it when we get to Edmond, but I felt bad for him here. Mm-hmm. And then when he's being exposed in Parliament for his bad doings, I didn't feel bad for him here, but I like that he took accountability and says, no one is above the law, including me, because that's what he was been telling his wife this whole time too. There was some softening here. Like he wasn't this cartoon villain to me anymore. Mm-hmm. He did bad things and he was watching his life collapse around him. And I felt a little sad for him.
Sure.
So, but I think that's the complexity of it all is what made the finale so good and made me as a viewer a little conflicted about all the revenge stuff.
Yeah. And I think the Villefort story contrasts with Danglars because you're right. I didn't feel Danglars is the one I feel least badly about. Mm-hmm. He was bad in many ways. He was willing to sell his daughter's happiness to the highest bidder because it would benefit him. And when he ends up in prison and reads that letter from Edmond.
So petty. I freaking loved it.
I loved it. It looks just like, it's a different prison, but it looks just like where Edmond was held. And he throws it out the window. I just think, yeah, you deserve this. You broke the law. Now you're going to go to prison for it. Edmond didn't even have to engineer that.
No, I know.
Just got him caught.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that one, I was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it was funny, too, because when Danglars reads that letter and he's like, bastard, and he's screaming, I was like, bro, this is on you. Mm-hmm. This is on you here.
Still doesn't see his part in it at all.
Yeah. I want to talk about Edmond.
Okay.
This is what elevated the finale for me because up until this point, we've seen Edmond he operates like he believes, everything is deserved. He's out for justice, right? And then he comes upon seeing Villefort over Villefort's dead child. I can't remember the child's name.
Edward, isn't it?
That sounds right. This is where finally, because Edmond goes, God help me.
Lord, forgive me.
Yeah, he realized what has happened. I think he sees his poison on the ground.
Whether or not, yes, but he knows what has happened.
Right. And I was like, oh, finally, Edmond looks horrified at what this has all become. Like, this is all part of his doing. And I was like, because honestly, the last episode and this one too, I was starting to feel like the ick towards Edmond. I'm going to talk about it in my wishes. But here I was like, okay, finally, like, I can't help but go back to what like Haiti had told him in like last episode of like, at what cost?
Yeah.
At what cost are you doing all this? Mm-hmm. And now he's like, oh, damn, I inadvertently killed a child. Does it make him equally as bad as Villefort and Danglars and Fernand?
And I don't know where I land on that. I don't think it makes him as bad as Villefort buried a child alive.
Yeah.
His intent was to kill that baby.
Yes, terrible.
You know, Edmond never had any intent for the children to be harmed. It was, or
Valentine, or so-and-so, right. Or, yeah.
And now Valentine at least has a happy ending, but at least when he sees that, he has enough of a realization. None of these other men get to that point. Mm-hmm. Maybe Villefort now, but his life has been ruined. I mean, it took all of this.
Right.
Villefort even had a little bit of a slow start to get Valentine out of jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it took him. I did like how he coldly goes to Heloise and he was like, I know what you did.
Yeah.
And presents her with the evidence.
But I thought he'd actually suspected her in the last episode, because do you remember him like looking through drawers and stuff?
Yes, I do.
And I thought, was that an editing mistake? Because I thought he assumed it was her, or suspected it was her in the last episode. But then this episode, he seemed genuinely like surprised when Edmond comes to him and was like, oh, your wife, like there's a witness to your wife going into my laboratory.
Yeah, he did. Maybe he seemed surprised about the evidence.
Yeah. Well, part of me was like, oh, well, am I mistaken? Was he looking through Valentine's stuff?
Yeah.
Last week?
I think both times.
So, yeah.
Heloise had hidden it because...
Oh.
That's my read, is that Heloise had hidden it in Valentine's room so it could be found there.
Got it. Yes.
Because that room is not Heloise. That's a small room.
You're right. You're right.
After Edmond leaves Villefort's home, he has one of his anxiety moments, and then he tosses his drugs from the coach. And that's another one of those Edmond redemption moments where he's like, no more of this. Like, we're gonna rebuild our life.
I agree with that, but I just needed more information. I would have loved some sort of internal dialogue or something of what made him decide to like stop relying on whatever this drug was that was helping him. I laughed because it was a Hallmark ending.
Absolutely. Love can heal.
I kind of went like, ew. When it ended, but I am happy that him and Mercedes, like, it's vague. Like, I think they're going to be together.
Yes, I think so too. Yes, it's vague.
You know, it's like the pull away shot and they're like together in their silhouette or whatever. It was beautiful. It was beautifully done, but I was like, okay, here it is. I got the ending I wanted. I'm curious if other people who have read the book, who know, seen other versions of it, were disappointed in the ending in this one.
I think it's the right ending for this show. If he were to have left and they show him riding up to Hades' home, I'd be like, what the heck? We don't see a development of a relationship at all for them. That would not be earned. They built the story where he was very much still in love with her and she was in love with him. And
you're surprised by that because you've been saying all for 8 episodes, like you were kind of like, it's a hard read. I don't know if he's mad at her.
Loved her, but I thought he couldn't forgive her for moving on. I thought it was the right choice for the story they were telling.
Season 2, can he forgive her, right? Did they set this up for a season 2? I know this was made a while ago, right?
Last year. But
okay.
You're riding hard for that season 2.
Yeah, I want to see what their life in
they rewrote
Marseille
the
looked
ending.
like.
I
Yes.
know. We made two seasons of The Handmaid's Tale than the book covered, so.
Yeah. All along we've been like, we know this is a one and done like mini series because like that's where the book ends. But could we see their life after revenge? Could you imagine? The Count of Monte Cristo, ... life after revenge.
I just don't think it's that interesting. And him and Heloise, him and Mercedes living in Marseille.
Yeah, but then we got like Danglars in
jail for the 15 years.
Plotting for the next for his revenge.
Jacopo going back and collecting his monthly.
Yeah, what'd you think about that?
Okay, so I actually liked the Jacopo goodbye. I thought it had a little bit of humor. Edmund's like, when the money stops coming, you'll know I'm dead. And Jacopo's like, don't die too soon. I thought it was sweet. And I thought he did right by them.
I thought he did too. Anyway, I would love a season 2.
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back to talk wishes. All right, Wendy, what'd you wish for?
Well, like I said, at one point, Edmund really gives me the ick. It's just destructive, like what he's doing. And I'm like, how can I continue to root for this man who I do think is justified having his life kind of destroyed? But like it's just such this ripple effect and innocent lives are being lost.
I think it helps that to the end, they're terrible. The reminder of the Villefort, it's unforgivable what he did to the baby. Mm-hmm. And then Danglars just like cheerfully being like, write me a check.
For my daughter.
Marry off my daughter.
Yeah.
Give me my money. Mm-hmm. It's just, they're gross.
I know. But I
forgot to mention, I love Eugenie bouncing.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
Cuts her hair. She and Louise leave.
Did you think it was a little bit funny? Like, obviously she took the money from her mom that her mom had, but they show that quick little scene where she's like, look at my money.
Yeah, they didn't need it.
It was not needed, but I did enjoy that too. And the Count of Spada is like, maybe you guys leave. It was like all funny. Like that was funny.
I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Here's some letters. Go be in the opera.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is she going to go like live as a man? So she and maybe they'll just be friends and live together. But she and Louise are running off together. Yeah. Okay, back to our wishes.
Yeah, I liked it. I think I already talked about most of my wishes. Like we talked about the end. The Hallmark ending, it was a little hokey, but I still liked it. And I do wish we got more insight into Edmund's internal transformation. And we already talked about that before. And when he throws out the drugs, like I need something else there.
I thought some of our moments at the end were rushed.
Yeah.
Most of our moments at the end, quite frankly, were rushed. Danglars is maybe the only one that I feel gets full coverage. I even think like the Heloise Edward Villefort ending is a little bit like, I guess we don't need the details of how it happened. We just know that this is Villefort's punishment. Mm-hmm. And, Edmund has shown up to be like, by the way, it was me.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, it's enough. I don't need that moment. Mm-hmm. Max and Valentine, it's such like a quick,
so fast.
They hug. Okay, I guess that is all I needed to know, but it's just like, close that loop. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Be happy now.
I think I had read, too, that he leaves a lot of his fortune to them, Edmund.
Oh, in the book. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice, because Villefort ain't going to have nothing now.
Right.
That's it. There's just some moments that I thought, oh, we're just real wrapping all this up. Mm-hmm. Check. Do you think that's enough of a punishment that Villefort receives? Heloise and Edward have passed. Like, do you think we need to see him go to trial?
Yeah, we don't really see, we don't really see, right?
What's going to happen with Gaston? No.
Yeah.
No.
And we don't really see what happens with Villefort. Like, he's just living, alone now?
We don't, the last we see of him is he's holding his dead son.
Right, that was it.
So there's a little bit of an open-endedness with...
Season 2, maybe?
There's a whole lot of...
Yeah, who got it the worst? Fernand got it the worst, right? Don't you think?
Well...
No, Danglars because he's in prison. No, Villefort because
of his son. Fernand took it upon himself to not face the consequences of his actions.
True.
His consequences would have been he would have gone to prison. but his wife and child would have still been living. But Fernand couldn't live with the humiliation of that.
Okay, so on the flip side, like who has the most satisfying downfall of the three of them?
I think Danglars.
Yeah.
Because his wife was bad too, and she goes down with him. And his daughter has a happy ending. And so I think it's the one you can root for the most.
Yeah.
Do you think Mercedes has earned that moment at the end with Edward? Like, I'm sorry. An Edward and an Edmond is too much. Do you think she's earned his acceptance at the end, his coming to find her?
There hasn't been enough time.
They're telling us a story that we never saw when they said the woman goes and looks out over the Castle d'If, Chateau d'If.
Yes, they did. In episode 1, she was like standing there on the thing watching. And,
Yeah, the day he leaves.
Yeah, fair.
But at the end, we see that they've gone there.
Yes, you're right. I'm laughing at the
Pronunciation?
No. Because I'm laughing at the name because when my daughter was watching it, I was watching with subtitles and she's like, DILF. She just thought it was really funny because, MILF and DILF.
No, I get it.
Okay. I was like, it's French. Leave it alone.
Yeah, overall, I thought it was a very enjoyable series.
Me too. And I have to, okay, what did you like better? The Forsytes or the Count of Monte Cristo?
The Count of Monte Cristo.
I did too. Yeah, it was good. It's really good. Shouting from the rooftops, people, you gotta watch The Count of Monte Cristo on PBS.
Do it.
Really good.
Do it. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. If you're a Count of Monte Cristo watcher, we hope you'll stick around for more Hallmark content from us. We're covering the newest movies and the currently running series over on Hallmark and Hallmark Plus. So give us a listen. Subscribe to Girls Gone Hallmark to never miss an episode. And we'll be back next time with more Hallmark reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.